what are the different categories of models which should constitute your target architecture. Now, if I can explain that, let me do that for the material inventory management, just this example, and then I'm going to extend it to other departments. Now, if I take this one single department, you're talking about your target architecture or a set of target models, not just one category of target model, but 6 category of target models. Strategy models, business models, system models, technology models, implementation models, operation models, right? Now, you've got a strategist, you've got a process architects, and you've got solution architects, you've got technical architects, and you've got a implementation team, and you've got a operational team, and so on. Now, a strategist for the material inventory management is the guy who's going to look at how the lean replenishment and just-in-time inventory works. The process guy is going to define what are the related processes and policies and procedures and standards for ordering and shipping and warehousing, right? Now, then we're going to have solution architects who are going to translate these systems and processes and procedures into systems definition of data, applications, technology. And these guys not only understand the material inventory management concern, they will also understand the impact of procurement, the impact of payment management, the impact of budgeting forecasting, impact of retail management, right? They will also understand how the supply chain management and its logistics and the warehousing, the mobile computing, real-time logistics inventories, how some of these ideas are going to bring about the just-in-time inventory management. And then you're going to have technical guys, who are going to break it down, these concerns, into areas of presentation tier, network, or on databases, or the business logic layer, or security, or stuff, messaging requirements, or hardware requirements. And then you've got a technical guys, an implementation guy, who's going to translate these into specific areas of technologies, right? So the guys are going to, your security guys or messaging guys are pretty much here, but a guy is going to configure the Cisco router or the nodes and hosts. They're going to be the specific technology area. And then you got operational guys who are going to look at change management, going to look at change control and the backups and stuff like that. Now, typically if you look at these strategies, they're going to have a background in the business as well as they understand the financial part of the business, right? The business architects and process architects are going to be the guys who have pretty good idea about the domain, while solution architects are the guys who are going to do a balance between process and the technology, and they need to have a fairly good idea about both the domain and technology, right? And then the technical architects and the tools and stuff like that. Now, how do I measure that I have a great strategy models, right? So the way I'm going to measure my great strategy model is that my department or my business, my organization is more profitable, enhancing customer market share, enhancing operation margins. Or how do I know I have great process business models? I need to ensure that my process efficiency, process transparencies have increased from 30% to 90% process transparency. How to ensure that my solution models are great or is better because it's going to take care of over 19 plus quality of service, right? Maintainability, reliability, right? Modifiability. How do I measure modifiability? So these are the parameters that they have to take care. And then you need enterprise architect who is going to understand all the models, right? And just like what we're seeing, there is a measurable parameters for these models. We need to have enterprise architect who is going to look at quarterly governance to ensure that each of these are broken down into the pieces. Now, the structure is very, very important because otherwise what happens is from a strategy model to the operation model, I'm like, this is a global number which I'm going to tell you next, is that hardly 10% of the strategy ever see a day of operation. There's a huge gap, right? Because if you don't translate effectively into each of these models, right, converting strategy model directly into the operation model, the chances of success is less than 10%, right? So we have to have a structure like this. Now so ensure you have defined each category of models, right? Very, very important. Team members responsible for these models have adequate knowledge. Ensure there are few people who have knowledge of model across each of these categories. So you may have few guys who understand 2 models, few guys understand 3 models, few guys understand 4 models, few guys understand these 3 models, few guys who has to understand all the models, right?